All right.
Why is defunding public schools okay?
So the president has never wanted to take money away from schools, take money away from education. It is about keeping it with the child.
Listen to how they rephrase the question. Defunding the schools. It's not the schools that he's trying to defund. Okay, the point is funding education. First of all, the federal government shouldn't be involved in education to begin with. But notice how the media says defunding the schools. That's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's funding education, and he's funding the. And believe me, I'm not a big Trump supporter, so I'm not here to defend anybody. But the media frames it as defunding education, which actually we should do at the federal level. We should defund the entire Department of Education. But anyway, what he's doing is if schools aren't going to be in session, then the money goes with the student. If they're going to be homeschooling, then that money goes to the parent, because the teachers aren't doing anything, the administration's not doing anything. So why would you give money to a government entity, i.e. schools, that aren't doing anything for your child? That's a pretty simple question, but of course the media doesn't see it that way.
Opportunity, which is why the money must follow the student. And
yes.
I also note in the CDC guidelines that they said with regards to food,
the money is there to educate the kids, not to pay teachers. Most of the time it's the teachers educating the kids, but if schools are going to close, then the teachers aren't going to be educating the kids. Therefore, the money doesn't need to be going to the teachers. It needs to be going to the kids' education. That's called the education system.
But they went on to say it's difficult to maintain this type of program over the long term. There are severe consequences. I've mentioned the child abuse, the loss in education, and also when it comes to nutrition services as well.
Yes. Kate, with the payroll tax cut now off the table, is there anything that the White House considers a red line in negotiations with Democrats? And then also another question.
Now, I'm not going to get into red lines. These negotiations are ongoing, and I'm not in the middle of them, so I'll wait to find out what the conclusions of those negotiations are. But I would just signal what I said at the top of this briefing about unemployment insurance being very important.
And then President Trump called off the convention in Florida, citing safety.
Unemployment insurance? No, it's called taking money from some and giving it to people who aren't doing anything. And the reason they aren't doing anything is because the government has destroyed jobs. So now, because the government has destroyed jobs, what the government needs to do is steal your money if you still have a job, so they can pay for those people who don't have a job that they destroyed.
I'm not going to give any further information about our intelligence from the briefing podium, other than to note what I told Justin earlier on that particular matter. Yes.
Thank you, Kelly. On the question of reopening schools, yesterday, just minutes after the president announced that he was going to cancel the Republican convention events in Jacksonville, he also made the case again for reopening schools. So why is it not safe to hold a Republican convention, but it is safe to reopen schools?
Yeah, schools are a different situation when you have children who, as the CDC guidelines clearly know.
I can't believe the media is asking such stupid questions. Why is it okay to shut down the Republican convention, but it's not okay to shut down schools? Why is it that schools have to stay open? Wait, are you equating politicians with educating kids? Educating, I'm using that in quotation marks. This is the kind of, I like listening to these White House briefings solely for the dumbass questions that the media asks and how they try to frame things. They are completely stupid. This is why everyone makes fun of the media, all the media.
About the use of federal officers. Does the president believe he has the power to send DHS agents and officers anywhere in the country that he wants to?
The president believes that his authority is with regard to DHS, which is distinct from DOJ.
So much important to information coming.
All right, looks like they're going to end it here. A couple of things they talked about before I went live, because it was just frustrating me so much. One of the questions the media asked is it helping recruitment that all these military bases are named after Confederate generals? Let me tell you something. The American public, first of all, at large, the American public at large never looked at Fort Bragg and went, gee, I wonder what Fort Bragg is named after, and then go and look up who the heck General Bragg was. Or, gee, I wonder who Fort Hood was named after, and then go and look up General Hood. The majority of American public is completely stupid to begin with, all right? I'll just say that up front. The majority of the American public is completely stupid. Nobody thinks when they go to Fort Hood, they get assigned at Fort Hood, oh my gosh, I'm getting assigned to a military base named after a Confederate general. Or when somebody goes to the recruitment office, they don't say, gee, I wonder if, as a black man, I'm going to get stationed on a military base that just might be named after a Confederate general. Holy cow, we have bases named after Confederate generals? I'm not joining the military. I'm woke. That's just the dumbest, stupidest angle for the Democrats to take. And let me tell you something. If you are somebody who's going to join the military and then you decide, you know what, I'm not going to join the military. There's a place called Fort Hood and Fort Bragg and Fort Campbell and oh my gosh, they're named after, you know what, we don't want you. You are too weak, too spineless, and too stupid to join the military. All right? We don't need you. We don't need weak-spined people who are offended by what a base is named after in the military. Because the military's job is to kill people. All right? We need people who are willing to kill people, who can go into combat and actually stand up and not be offended because the guy on the other side that you're shooting at, oh my gosh, that's a Muslim. I can't shoot a Muslim. Oh my gosh, that's somebody that doesn't look like me. That's a non-white person. I can't shoot at them. That's the last thing we need is morons with guns wearing uniforms in the military who are offended by the fact that they might get stationed or are stationed at a military base that just happened to have been named after a former Confederate general. Boo-hoo, shut the fuck up, get out of the military, we don't need you. All right, it's just that simple. And for the media to say, oh, don't you think it hurts recruitment? If it hurts recruitment, it only hurts recruitment of dumbass, weak-spined, weak individuals who probably shouldn't be in the military to begin with and probably wouldn't make it through 8 weeks of basic training. All right? So, it just annoys the hell out of me. All right? Wake up, people. Who cares? If you are offended because there is a stone statue downtown at a place that you never go anyway, or there is a base named after someone that you didn't like because it happened 150 years ago, then I'm sorry, we don't need you in society and we definitely don't need you in the military because you are weak, you are spineless, because you are not strong enough mentally or physically to be able to overcome your own decision, it's a decision, to be offended. You have decided to be offended by a name, by a piece of rock, by something that happened 150 years ago that does not affect you at all today. And those are just not the kinds of people that make America strong. And I'm not making that as a Trump thing. I'm just saying what we need more of is strong men and women who can live their lives without finding ways to be offended at everything, and fewer men who think they're women or women who think they're men, and both, which just aren't strong enough to manage their own emotions and not get offended by stupid crap. That's just my thoughts on it. All right, since the press conference ended, I'm gonna end. I really just wanted this to be about the press conference, but I wanted to bring up, because before I went on, I was hoping they were gonna go more into this, but they didn't. They were talking about whether or not the names of military bases were going to affect recruitment. And I'm telling you, as a soldier, even though I knew, because I always looked at Fort Irwin, like, what is Fort Irwin? That was my first duty station, right? I looked into it. Okay, who was Irwin? And oh, sorry. Who are all these people? But I knew that. But I also was a historian, and I believed in studying history anyway my whole life. But I don't care. I don't care if something's named after a black man, a white man, a Confederate, a Union soldier, a Tennessean, a Texan, a New York. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. And there are many times where I probably could have been offended. If I were a liberal, I probably would have been offended. But see, I'm strong, and I've actually got the ability to control my emotions, and I've actually got the ability to control who I allow to offend me, who I'm going to give the power to offend me. How weak do you have to be that you give so many people and so many things the power over you that you get so easily offended by something? Anything. Just name it. Anything. whether it's a Hawaiian shirt or a Confederate base. If you're one of those people, go away. We don't need you. Go to some weak country where they make all the decisions for you so you don't have to worry about your life because the government will take care of everything. Venezuela is a good option. Cuba's a good option. North Korea and China are great options. Okay, they make all your decisions for you. All you have to do is check the list to figure out what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, and you'll never be offended because you don't ever have to make a decision for yourself. Goodbye. Take care. Be safe. Be free, guys.